Hey everyone, coming to you from Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam because I am currently on location for one of my favorite clients, Marriott International, doing branded content short documentaries on their employees of the year. And I thought it'd be a great opportunity to take you through my 2025 minimalist lightweight travel filmmaking kit. And that's lights, audio, and support gear. So let's get right into it. This video is sponsored by Zhiyun. Now, I often work on documentary and doc series where you have a larger crew and a lot more gear at your disposal. But if you are traveling, especially internationally, you want to make sure you pack light but still have the gear you need to actually do the job at the highest quality level. So all the gear I've chosen today is made to go in just 2 check bags and a couple rollers. So you can travel really minimalistically and really lightweight, but still have everything you need to get high quality results. Quick mention about cameras and lenses. This really varies depending on the job you're doing, but on this shoot, we're using the Laowa Nanomorph LF lenses with a Panasonic S1H, which is one of my favorite mirrorless cameras ever, and a Panasonic S5 IIX. I've done these shoots for 8 years now and have taken a variety of different cameras, including the Canon C70, the Fuji X-H2S, but really 1 or 2 cameras plus a couple great primes, nice versatile zoom, pretty much works in every situation. I have put a lot more thought and effort into the support gear I bring, whether that's lighting, light stands, diffusers, all the different things that come with actually creating a great documentary interview look. And the cameras are a small part of that. But with that said, the Nanomorph LFs have given us a really unique and pretty interesting look on this shoot. Last year, I put out a video called My Minimalist Lighting Kit, and there are some similarities to this video, but I've upgraded quite a few things. The favorite upgrade I've made this year is this newer light stand. It is carbon fiber, has a really nice red accent mark, and it gets pretty darn tall, but folds up into a tiny size, probably 2.5, 3 feet. So it fits really easily in pretty much any check bag. And I have seen some reports where these legs will break if you put a little too much pressure on them. But make sure you just wrap it up, pack it up nicely, and it should be just fine in your check bag. The second type of light stand that I have are these from Ulanzi. And just like the newer light stands, they are very lightweight, very small, and fold up into itself, and so very packable. Now these light stands don't get as tall as the newer light stands, and they're also not as strong, so I generally use them as just negative fill, or if I need to put up a kicker light behind my interview subject. In my minimalist lighting kit from last year, I talked about the Zhiyun X100, which is a beautiful light, incredibly small, and will be featured here in a few minutes. But I have upgraded my main travel light to the Zhiyun G200. And the reason for this is because it's way more powerful, but still is incredibly small. So it's a lightweight 200 watt light that also has a boost mode that gets you to 300 watts if you need it. And to have that amount of brightness and power in a light that's this size is pretty darn incredible. So with the lightweight light stands, you want to put a really heavy light on those stands. They're just not made to carry that much weight. And so something like the G200 is perfect because with a ballast off of the actual light, then you can put this on the ground or put this in a chair, and the only weight that's on the light stand is the light itself. I'm usually running this thing at 50 to 60%, so I'm not even using its full power, but sometimes if I'm battling windows or sunlight, it's nice to know that I have the juice if I need it. The other great thing about this light is its versatility. It is bicolor, and it also has a little umbrella holder right here, which is going to be pretty darn important in a few minutes when we talk about diffusion. The second light I bring, also from Zhiyun, is the Zhiyun X100. And this was my main key light in my minimalist travel lighting kit from last year. And you can see why this thing is teeny tiny. And I switched to the G200 solely because I wanted more power and more juice, but the X100 is still incredible for a lot of different situations. Yes, you can use it as a key light, no problem, but I often use it as a second light, a kicker, a backlight, just a lot of different scenarios that you can put this in. And I also love that it comes with this reflector, which has a built-in stand, so it's really easy to get on any light stand. And again, light enough that you can get it on those smaller, weaker, lightweight light stands that you usually travel with. So speaking of the G200 and X100, this video is sponsored by Zhiyun, which makes these lights. And right off the bat, I want you to know that I bought the X100, I bought the G200, and Zhiyun sent me the X60, which you'll see next. But I reached out to them to see if they wanted to sponsor this video because I love their lights so much. So though they are the sponsor of this video, I've been using their lights for more than 2 years now and have featured them in many videos. Go and watch any of my other YouTube videos. But I highly recommend checking out the Giyun lights if you travel a lot and need a pretty powerful lighting kit. And if you use the code in the link description below, you'll get 10% off. We have 2 more lights from Giyun. This is the X60. And the X60, again, like the X100 and G200, for a 60 watt light is really, really tiny. I mean, this thing is about the size of a credit card, obviously a little thicker, but it's really easy to pack. Again, throw it in your bag, and it can be used in a wide variety of situations. On this shoot, for my interview setups, I have used it as a kicker or a hair light, and it works great in that regard, often at just 5–10% because it's pretty powerful, and I don't really like a really strong hair light. It looks strange. But because this light is so small, it's easy to put in a lot of different situations and just add a little extra something to your documentary scenes. For example, here in the kitchen we are filming with a chef, and I just threw this up on a clamp, stuck it on the ceiling, and it looks like it's part of the kitchen, but gives us a nice backlight to really elevate these visuals. Another nice thing about this light is not only is it bicolor, it's RGB, and so you can make it pretty much any color you want, or do a lot of the different effects that a lot of lights can do these days. So whether that's cop car, faulty bulb, paparazzi, TV screen. So there's a lot of different things that this light will allow you to do if it calls for it. One other really nice thing about the X100 and the X60 is that you can attach this battery grip and power it just like that. And not only does it actually power the light, but it also is a pretty nice handle. If you just want to get a quick shot, sometimes it's easier just to slap this battery on there, get a shot of whatever it is you're shooting, and then put it back in the bag and move on to the next scene. Now, last year I talked a little bit about how I had a couple of these batteries fail me, but in the last year, Giyun has sent me 3 or 4 updated batteries and haven't had one fail or be strange on me. So I think now with confidence you can use these batteries and it'll be perfect for your mobile setup. The last Giyun light I want to talk about is this little guy right here, which I currently just have sitting on top of the camera. It's the Cinepeer CM15. I've used this again as just a little quick little backlight, a little fill light. Right now I just have it sitting on top of the camera as a little eye light, and it works pretty well. Now let's move on to diffusion, and there are really only 2 items that I travel with. The first is the actual diffusion for the key light itself, and that is this umbrella. And the reason I travel with umbrellas is pretty apparent. They are incredibly lightweight, packed down to almost nothing, and so therefore are really easy to stick in a check bag. And also if you're moving around a hotel or international location, it's just easier to carry some really lightweight stuff like this umbrella. And I use it in 2 ways. One, obviously, is just to open it up and shoot through it as you would a softbox. But the other is to bounce the light off of it with the black cloth on one side, and it bounces the light back on your subject. And one of the really nice things, as I mentioned with the Giyun lights, is the actual yokes that the lights sit on all have umbrella holders for the G200 and X100. And so right away, easy to just go ahead and slide this in and mount it on your light. Next up is a item that I have used for many, many years. Pretty much my first lighting kit I ever bought was this thing. It's a 5-in-1 diffuser. It costs like 25 bucks on Amazon, so it's not expensive, but it is incredibly useful. It folds up into a tiny little size, obviously is very lightweight. It can be used as a bounce if you wanted to add a little extra fill light on your subject. It can also obviously be used on the black side to use as negative fill, which I do 90% of the time during my interviews. Or you can take off the fabric itself and just have a diffuser that you can punch a light through and diffuse your light. It also has a silver and gold side if you want to get a little fancy. I've used it pretty much in every single way, but definitely use it mostly as a negative fill or as a diffusion. Next up is the most important part of the interview, and that is audio. And I just recently got this Zacuto Micro Boom, and it has been really, really nice to travel with. I used to travel with a full boom pole and an extra light stand and a boom pole holder that goes on the light stand, and that gets heavy. It's a lot of stuff, and so it's just a lot more to travel with. But the Micro Boom just sits on top of your camera, and if your A-cam is a pretty wide angle lens, which I usually like to shoot with, then you can get this right above your interviewee, and it sounds incredible. The way the Micro Boom works is you have a NATO rail on the top of your camera or handle, and then you just slide it in, and if this is sitting on top of your camera, then you can just boom the arm out like so. And you don't have to put this on your camera. You can put it on a light stand. You would just have to think of a different way to connect it because light stands usually don't have NATO rails on the top of them. Which brings me to my next item, the iFootage clamp. And this thing is awesome. It has these little pieces right here. And you connect these to any item that you might want to put on the Magic Arm itself. And that can also include this big old clamp that they have here. And so you can use it just as a Magic Arm to connect your monitor, but I like it for a variety of situations. It's great for just putting it in a scene like I did here in the background of the hood over the oven, and it just looks like a light that's in the scene itself. I also use it on a moped. It's strong enough, it has enough grip to actually do that, and then put something like a Osmo Pocket 3 on there to get some interesting shots of a subject that you're filming. Though it's a little bit heavier than some of the other travel gear I travel with, it's robust and strong and comes in handy in a lot of situations. So I would recommend the iFootage Spider Crab. While I have done some of these travel documentary series with smaller mics or some like Rode Wireless Go 2, it's amazing how much better a good shotgun microphone sounds in an interview, and so I always travel with one. This thing is really expensive. You don't have to get something like this. You can get 95% of the quality with something from Deity or Rode, but having a real boom mic that's right above your subject makes the audio way, way better. And so I'd highly recommend that. With that being said, I do like to have backup audio as well, especially if you're running two cameras. So one camera is recording the beautiful boom mic, and the other one is recording a small lavalier that I put on my subject. And you may not have known, but I actually have one on right now, and that's what you've been listening to this whole time. So this is the new Hollyland microphone, and it is this tiny, tiny little thing. One of the problems with a lot of these little microphones is the giant logos they throw on the front to say Rode and DJI. So to have a company make a microphone that is actually not trying to be seen, which is the whole point of a lavalier mic in the first place, is pretty darn great. This thing is easy enough to hide in clothing, especially if someone's wearing a suit or a tie, that you don't even have to think about it. You just clip it on and it's great backup audio. A couple other quick accessories that I never leave home without. The first is a small V-mount battery like this. This is the FX Lion Nano 1, so it's a 50-watt battery. Can be charged by USB-C, so really easy to just go and charge with your computer charger, but I often travel with a 3 or 4 bay USB-C charger. I can just plug in between shoots, charge the battery, and not have to worry about battery power. Is pretty great. This clamp, really lightweight, sticks on the top of your light stand and allows you just to clamp on your negative fill or your diffusion. This is the last year, I believe, for this item, which is a 6-foot XLR cable. And if you're using an external recorder or running audio all the way to a boom pole, then you're gonna have to have one of these. But I'm hoping that Zacuto, with their new micro boom that has the XLR built in, will solve that problem. And so I only need 2 short XLR cables to go from my mic to the micro boom, and then obviously the micro boom to the XLR module on top of the S1H. And finally, a little hinge accessory for your light stands and for your lights so that you can mount your many lights if they don't already have this functionality in the light itself. So if you have an X100 and you get the reflector, then obviously you already have that. And same with the G200, it has it built in. But for something like the X60, if you wanted to put this on a light stand and actually be able to point it up and down and left to right, then you're going to need something like this. It does have an umbrella holder built in as well. So if you have a light that doesn't have a built-in umbrella holder, then this will get the job done. All right, so there you go. That is my travel documentary interview kit for 2025. I'm always changing and tweaking these things, but I'm really happy with the light stands I have now. Umbrella diffusion is classic and always works. And then Zhiyun is continually putting out really lightweight but powerful lights. And so thanks to Zhiyun for sponsoring this video, and thanks to Zhiyun for making some pretty beautiful lights. So if you would like to try them out, check out the link in the description below and you'll get 10% off on your Zhiyun purchase. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything in your kit that you think I should add to make mine even more streamlined. But go out there, shoot some documentary interviews, and we'll see you in the next video.